Good morning and welcome, guys, on this beautiful Thursday, the 6th of October. As always, I'm super proud to be your host, Dane Vandermas. Guys, this is Counts for Breakfast, and we are about to have an amazing session together. And just a shout out to the chat. You guys are already on fire. I can see on point this morning, zero delay. I can see Keegan in the house. I can see Mackenzie, Raiz, as well as Nobile, Gilbert, Melise, Mtumleng, Waifik, Mark Hooper, good morning. Medi Station, Peter van Wyk, Siabonga, Rap Killer, Ashad. Welcome, and a very good morning to you guys. Remember, it is Thursday. I'm feeling super pumped, but it isn't yet Friday, because remember, Friday is going to be NFP Friday. I am super excited about NFP Friday. There's a lot of work and preparation going in that we are going to take NFP Friday to a whole new level. So those of you who have traded with me NFP Fridays in the past, we've seen a few different things, but I believe this NFP Friday, we're about to see something on a whole new level, unlike anything we've potentially seen before. So if you aren't yet ready, get your accounts funded a minimum of $100, and we will email you out the link for that broadcast on Friday morning. In addition to that, we will also be emailing out a link to the Globex 360 Beginners Academy, and that is where you start off your trading journey, and you will get dollars for lunch. You get all the special benefits that are going to be locked down for only live account holders only. Now remember, if you don't have a live account, not to worry, you will still get pounds for breakfast in the mornings, but we're going to reserve live tradings, giveaways, competitions, all the crazy stuff for those of you who are already our clients, right? This is a celebration for being the longest established broker in Southern Africa, leading the way with technology, with improvements, with service, with everything and more that you need as a partner within the markets right now. So that is what that is all about. So we are going to jump into the news. We're going to have a look at what is happening in the world. And we are, as always, today going to be looking at doing some giveaways for every single one of you right here, right now. So first and foremost, we're going to start off and we're going to open up the news and have a look at what it is that we're seeing. And essentially, what are the big items that we want to be talking about this afternoon. So let's jump straight into it. So we are going to start off with news, and then we're going to move directly into some of those fundamental data points. And first things first is that there's a Yahoo article saying, people really need to start managing their emotions to get through this next season, right? And again, if you haven't learned to manage emotions, if you haven't learned to look at the markets and how to diversify yourself and take it step by step, remember, smart money looks for deals. When markets pull back down, smart money is not stressed. All that means is that there's a buy opportunity at a lower value in order to capitalize on a market. And I think from a psychological level, for those of you who really want to start to invest in your trading journey, I highly recommend you start to really look at your trading psychology, right? In terms of holding those winners and letting go of those losses, right? Not being overly eager to jump into something because you feel you have to, but waiting the market out to show you what it exactly is that it wants to do. And we do this in live sessions. You'll often see a market will move, and I'm not fazed because it needs to move and meet the requirements that I have in order to get into that particular trade. So again, when I see these articles, it's basically preparing people for what's to come, and what's to come is not exactly a great or good thing. So that's obviously going to be something we're going to be paying quite a bit of attention to, and we're going to be investing a lot more in trading psychology in the brand new Globex 360 Academy that is going to be coming out extremely soon. Now, in the news for this week, and I think there's going to be two brands that are going to be mostly dominating the news, and I believe Google as well as Twitter are going to be the main headline news items that we're going to have to pay most attention to. As we discussed yesterday, from a Twitter perspective, we understand and know that we can currently see, let's just quickly see here, someone's saying sound, question mark. Guys, just let me know, can you hear and see me correctly? I did get a message from the team saying there's something wrong with the sound, but on my side, it seems like everybody can hear and see me. Just let me know. Just a quick shout out to Paul Fenter. Thank you for joining us. Tumelo, thank you for joining us. Yolanda, Medistation, Doggo, Mackenzie, Chippo, guys, Wafik, you guys are absolutely amazing. Everybody's saying all good, A-okay, let's get going. All right, so Twitter going to be huge in the headlines. As we know, Elon's buyout is now official, but we are going to also have a look at Google, right? As we saw with the Apple new product announcement last month, Google is scheduled to do their product announcements today on the 7th, right? So we're going to see a whole bunch of new software. We're going to see a whole bunch of new phones. And again, that is going to have an impact on Google's share price. Now, as we've discussed with the Apple release, it doesn't have this huge effect on the markets, right? It doesn't have this massive effect unless there's some sort of groundbreaking technology that they're releasing that the public is not expecting. Now, looking at the lineup of the products that they're going to be releasing, I dive deeper into their new phones, into their new home Nest devices, into the software and the services they're going to be releasing. And there's nothing there that I see to be groundbreaking. However, if we look at Apple's share price from their product launch, they generally pick up in value if it is received well as a new product. So we want to pay a little bit of attention to that. But more than that, we want to have a look at if there's anything that is underwhelming to investors that could trigger some sort of sell-off on Google's share price. That's definitely be something we want to pay attention to. Now, moving a little bit deeper into, everybody's asking, why did Elon purchase Twitter? Was this a dare? Was this just this eccentric, billionaire that's going ahead and doing things? Well, no. Elon has this plan for an app called the Everything app, the X Everything app, right? And this is in line. If you look at his branding, you look at his modeling, you look at SpaceX, you look at Solar City, you look at the Tesla Model X, there's X.com, there's a bunch of things that he always keeps this attribution towards this letter X. And so his goal and his vision was to build what's called the Everything app. Now, acquiring Twitter, he claimed in a previous tweet that the Twitter acquisition will fast track the X Everything app by 3 to 5 years in terms of where it wants to be. So what we need to understand is that Twitter is a small component of a much bigger application. And listen, if there's someone that can build an application and change things to the next level, it's going to be Elon. So again, as we discussed yesterday, I'm getting long on some Twitter shares because I do believe that Twitter can be completely transformed and amalgamated and absorbed into the future of what Elon's seeing in terms of this Everything app. And that will include banking, it will include transport, it will include social media, it will include all of the current features that you receive from multiple applications all amalgamated into one. So it's a very, very ambitious project, and Twitter is that focal point. Twitter is that foundation to what it is he wants to build. So again, we're going to watch Twitter pricing extremely, extremely close as we get deeper and deeper into that. Right, now moving a little bit more into some of the fundamentals and the data that we're going to have for today. We are looking at a fairly quiet day. However, coming into this afternoon, we are going to get those initial jobless claims for the dollar. Now, yesterday we got positive dollar data. It was temporarily absorbed as the market saw it as positive, but again, we saw that sell off on the dollar. So initial job loss claims up for today. But again, the big news item, the big item that we're going to be paying the most attention to is going to be NFP tomorrow, Friday, right? So now NFP, we are going to be starting at 2:15. If you do have a funded Globex 360 live account, we will email you the link to this event. It's not going to be public. It's not going to be hosted on YouTube freely. It's going to be a link that you receive that is unique to you being able to take part and participate with us. So once again, another one of the 1,000 other reasons why there have never been a better time to be a trader, but more than that, to be a trader with Globex 360, right? This is done unlike anywhere else in the world right now. So you want to be a part of that. NFP is going to be huge. The last couple NFPs have been mediocre. I believe with all the catalysts that we've been talking about over the past couple of weeks, markets have come back into structure. Prices have come back into normality. I believe this NFP is going to be a shocker. So you want to pay attention to that. And you most certainly want to be a part of that as and when we trade and dive deeper into that. So NFP obviously has contributions from a bunch of different events. We have unemployment data, we have participation rates, we have non-farm payrolls, private non-farm payrolls, as well as hourly earnings. So it's not as simple as just one number decides the market. there's a combination of data that we obviously need to discuss and compile, looking at, there might be more people unemployed, but the average hourly earnings has increased, right? Or vice versa. So we look at that data, we analyze it, we interpret it as best we can, and then make a decision on the market. So again, we're going to start a little bit earlier. We will start at 2:15 on Friday. We'll have about 15 minutes of analysis, setup, price action. We'll get the data, we'll ride out that market, wrapping up the week very, very strongly for yesterday. Now, guys, listen, in addition to that, if you guys caught my US30 sell buy that I sent into the group, guys, US30 sell or the US30 buy has been a monster move. So if you are currently in that buy right now as we speak, this is going to be the first giveaway, or the first essential giveaway or prize for this morning. I'm looking at what is your position on US30, right? And if you have a Globex 360 live account and you are currently in a buy on US30, right, as I am, and buy is beautifully into the blue, we're currently sitting quite a few thousand pips in profit. I want you to do this. I want you to go ahead and take a screenshot of your trade, right? I want to see those US30 buys that are called out in the group. In addition to that, I would like to see you go ahead and post that to your social media as an Instagram story. And I would go ahead and like you to tag Globex 360. Right, now the first person to do that, the first person to go ahead and take a screenshot of the US30 buy that I sent yesterday morning that is running massively in profits right now, we will go ahead and award and credit you with $250 credits, non-refundable, non-withdrawable, to your live account, and that will help you to boost your trading over this next week, and specifically for NFP, because NFP is going to be massive and we want to share the love. In addition to that, right, NFP, we're going to be doing a very special type of giveaway, and it's a new concept that we're thinking about, where we're going to look at the NFP movement and we're going to guess the price by a certain time. So if NFP opens, we get the data at 2:30, we're going to have a competition at the 2:40 candle. Where will that price be? Right, when that price hits 2:40, where will that price be? And you guys will get to vote in the live broadcast, and the closest person to that number, we will be giving out $500 credit towards your live account, just to say thank you and just to make the devil jealous and push in a massive way. All right, so we are going to be focusing on having a look on Instagram. Yes, so I'm looking at Instagram right now. So the first one to go ahead and tag Globex 360, you're welcome to tag me as well in that post if you wish, but I want to see a tag to Globex 360 where you are sharing your screenshot of that US30 buy we took yesterday, and you should still be holding that trade, right? My trade is running massively in profit. We had a super profitable day yesterday afternoon. So I'm seeing people inboxing me those trades, sending me screenshots of those trades. But remember, it has to be a live account, guys. It has to be a live account. And yeah, I want to see those trades running in full. Okay, so I'm still waiting. Nobody yet has tagged me. I see a tag, but I don't get it on my side. Okay, so we're waiting for that. The first person to go ahead and tag us on social media, we'll look at that tag. If you have a Globex 360 live account with at least $100 in, we'll be giving you that credit of $100 towards your live accounts. All right, now we're about to jump into some FX analysis. As we get closer and closer to that 9 a.m. mark, we obviously want to look at what US30 could potentially do at this moment in time. So before we jump into FX analysis, what I would like to do is I'd rather jump in and have a look directly at what is busy currently happening on US30. So let's give it a quick look, and we are going to open this up really quickly, and we're going to move into the live trading segment where we look for opportunities and potentially take some of those trades. So really quickly, we are having a look right now at US30. And we can see we've got that big pullback. Big pullback came in super strong at that 9 a.m. mark. And again, we would have got an indication of that pullback in terms of that move. And that would have essentially just been this movement that we're seeing on the RSI. So RSI gave us an early indication, and that was approximately 5 minutes to the 9 o'clock mark. Just have a look here. 5 minutes to 8, we got that early break towards the downside. Now remember, where we bought yesterday on a US30 perspective, this is where we bought all the way down here, right? When I sent that screenshot, I said, hey, this is where I'm buying. I added in a trade towards the top side, and my stop loss is currently covering me in terms of those current positions. So I'm currently sitting in an investment position on US30, regardless of what it ends up doing. Now we have this initial spike towards the downside, and we will have a look at if this translates into the other markets as well. But in essence, what I'm looking to do here is I'm looking to find out and understand, do we have a little market structure, and will the structure break, and how can we potentially take advantage of that structure? So let's quickly line it up right there. And it is a super messy structure. I don't like structures that, you've really got to bend the limits of a support / resistance in order to deal with them. But again, we are getting that pullback, and that really started, the momentum on that one really started, I'd say, yeah, just at 9 o'clock. Just at 9 o'clock, we got that initial push down. But yes, I'm holding my current position because again, that 88.2, this is our major support level. I'm just going to go into an hour, right? We have a major support level right here on that 88.2. Remember, this was the price that we had to break. This is part and parcel of that 6-month low. It's the next major resistance level on our charts. And so, we expect, when we see a rally, we expect some sort of pullback to resistance or to support, and then a continuation to the top side. With that being said, we could very well see a US30 continuation or rally towards the top side, and that market structure may very well be something like that. Okay, I do believe that we do have a little bit of a spike here. Let's just have a look. Let's measure that. Yeah. So that is the exception. The initial up thrust out of the market was potentially the spike, and this will potentially become our new market structure as we look to trade and deal with this as a trade opportunity. So markets have moved down, markets are finding support, and ultimately what we want to focus on now is, do we get back above the 500 period moving average? This is on a 1 minute time frame, and should we get above that average, then we would be in a position to essentially add to our orders in order to get long. Again, a break of the structure would signal that US30 weakness. We're quickly going to have a look at what NASDAQ is busy doing on a similar type of time frame. NASDAQ got also very similar sell-off. German 30, very, very similar sell-off, I would assume. Yes. So we're getting those little sell-offs across the board. But again, we had a very, very strong day in the markets yesterday. As markets open and digest what has happened, we generally do see those corrections and some of those sell-offs as markets try and correct themselves from that perspective. Quickly having a look from a live trading perspective on our Twitter position. Let's quickly have a look there. So if you are in that Twitter position, you would have already been in profit and should currently be in profit already on that Twitter trade, right? We got a little bit of a pullback this morning. Markets did push slightly higher yesterday, but we got a little bit of a pullback. And again, the fact that Twitter is holding out above this particular price format is brilliant, right? Because it means that we're in an opportunity to take things to a whole new level towards the top side. So I'm holding out my Twitter position. German 30 holding flat, NASDAQ holding flat, and as well looking at US 30 and just on a closer time frame, we can also see we're holding fairly flat over there. So in essence, what I want to do on US 30 this morning, because I am already in a buy, I'm not looking to add any of my buy positions. You guys should have been in really good buy positions. And let's just look at the total pips from the point at which I called it out yesterday. So US 30 rose to over 3,000. Am I reading 3,000? 5,000 pips yesterday. So from the point I said in the group that I'm buying US 30, US 30 did a 5,000 pip move. Now, just to give you some perspective over what that means, right? If you had even a 1 lot position on US30, right, which essentially will, mean that if you had a 10 lot position on US30, let's rather work it out this way, right? So if you had a 10 lot position on US30, that would have essentially meant $1 per pip as US30 moves, right? So meaning every time US30 moved 1 pip, you would have made $1. So if that was a 5,000 pip move, that would have been a $5,000 trade that you could have capitalized on a US30, right? $5,000, 80,000 Rand, a couple of those trades, you're sitting well into the 200,000-300,000 Rand mark from a simple move in the markets. And that's exactly where we want to be, right? We want to win big, we want to lose small. That is what it's all about. So I'm going to leave US30 for its time being. I'm going to set up some alerts just north and south of where we're at. And we're going to dive back and get rather further into and unpack some of our FX analysis as we start off with the dollar index this morning. Okay, so dollar index, we obviously had some of that strong fundamental data pop in yesterday afternoon. We did see that pullback end up happening, and the pullback is currently still busy happening. So temporary strength on the good fundamental data that came through on the dollar. But again, any sort of negative catalyst that we see today, and even potentially NFP, this could break the back of the dollar, right? Again, as I said, should we get past that 109, I would even say, should we breach 110? Like once we breach 110 on the dollar index, again, that's going to signal for massive sell-offs on the dollar. Now, what will that mean for something like Euro USD? It's going to be very, very simple, right? If we get that weakening dollar, it means that Euro USD has an opportunity to really break through from a price action perspective. Again, we're currently trading on Euro USD at 0.9914, meaning that 1 euro buys you 99 cents US and 10 pips, right? So if we break through that zone, we get that dollar weakness, that is going to be the play that I'm looking for here. On USD ZAR, a little bit more of a tricky situational scenario because of the fact that the South African Rand's doing pretty bad. And then we obviously have the additional pressure that's obviously going to come in from the dollar. However, I have mapped out a market structure this morning for USD ZAR. This is looking at a 1 hour time frame in where it is we could be going. So I may start to look for sells off that 78.6 to ride further down, because as I discussed yesterday, for me, the real value proposition on ZAR sits way back down on that $17, 17 Rand to a single dollar on South African Rand. All right, so looking at GBP JPY, because I believe this is going to be a pretty big opportunity that we can potentially start looking to capitalize on. This is currently looking at a daily time frame. GBP JPY was doing absolutely amazing, and then we saw that weakness from the pound essentially lose a ton of value to the yen, right? Zooming in a little bit closer, that's what we saw last week. Now we're back at that same moment in time. We're back into that structure, and I believe in GBP JPY, the figure we really have to watch out for here is that if the pound comes rallying back in, right, for whatever reason, dollar weakness, they see advantage, they take advantage of that. For me, a GBP JPY buy would make complete sense above 168.60. So meaning £1 will buy you 168 yen and 60 pips, right? So 168.60. That is definitely going to be the key level that we want to watch out for. And I'm setting up an alert there. If you see that happen, we're good to go. And inversely, if we fail to get there and we start to then break this market structure once again, right, then I think it's tickets, and it will signal the flag to the yen that the pound doesn't have anything in it, and the yen will then take over and dominate, forcing GBP JPY to move and fall downside. So that is definitely some of the ones we really want to be paying attention to. Just quickly giving a quick look at US30 again. So as I said, we've got that good level of support. That's why I wasn't looking at selling it, and we got a nice bounce off of that level, and we're starting to see that little bit of a correction in terms of US30 this afternoon. So again, my trade is right there. My second trade that I entered yesterday was right in that zone. We've come back to support, we've come back to zone, and I would now like to see, as a confirmation, I would like to see that price break this channel towards the top side and beating the 500 period SMA for me to then add positions towards getting along. Remember, over the past 2 weeks, I've been speaking about the fact that we would see indices and markets come back to normal and break that 6-month low and start to rally, right? Everybody said it's impossible, it cannot happen, markets have to continue falling, but that's not what the data said, right? The data said something completely different. So that's why I still have my long bias on commodities, on indices as well, and also commodities. And I think that's a perfect segue for us to then jump into commodities and have a look exactly what is busy happening from a gold perspective this morning. Okay, beautiful. So we're currently looking at gold, and let's just dive a little bit deeper into what she is currently doing and what she more than likely could do over the next trading day as we lead into NFP. Now remember, NFP affects everything, guys. Remember, the dollar represents roughly about 80% of all transactions in the world happen in the dollar. It's the world reserve currency. So anything that happens in the dollar, the ripple effect across the markets is massive. And you obviously want to pay attention to that in quite a bit of detail. So again, NFP is going to shake everything, and that can very well include having a look at gold. So gold yesterday, some beautiful price formations that we're getting, right? And I just want to discuss where we were yesterday. So yesterday we were, in the morning, we were peaking out on gold up into this 1,724 ounces, dollars per ounce of gold. And I said that I wouldn't buy gold at that level because we do need some sort of correction. We have got some sort of correction. However, the correction was not back to the 61.8. The correction was back to our original diagonal in terms of that level, right? Back into this particular level here. So we just want to quickly have a look. What is the potential now, and where are we potentially going? Now, this particular little bull move that we're seeing on gold looks a little bit weak. It looks a little bit fragile, right? If we look at it in relation to this push, we can, just from a volume perspective, there's lots of indicators out there that will show you volume. There's a lot of things out there, technology out there that will tell you what's really happening on the charts. And I prefer to look at the charts and understand what is happening because the data's there. You know, when candles start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, what does that tell you? There's more volume in that market. There's momentum in that market. When candles get big and then a little bit smaller and then thin out towards the top, what is that telling you? It tells you that those bull or buyer participants are slowing down, and potentially it's a sign of weakness for the bears to get involved. So indicators are great, but you can understand what's happening on the charts just by looking at the candles. So comparing this bull move over here, we got this massive move, slight consolidation, slight correction, and then we get the next move. If I look at this market here, we're not getting the same thing. We're not getting that big momentum towards the top side. It looks like we're failing off a very similar type of resistance zone. And so this would be the area that I would start to expect some sort of pullback on gold, some temporary strength on the dollar, and a pullback on gold, ideally to closer to the, I'd say $1,708 to an ounce, and preferably down to the 1,691 per ounce. That is going to be the absolute value proposition of where I'd like to be. So gold, in terms of a short-term potential scalp, I really would pay attention to this market structure here. And yeah, I mean, we already got it on the RSI. We got an early hint of the fact that gold might at that point start losing momentum. Let's check the charts. Okay, and that's exactly what's happened. So at that point over there, looking at 6:45 this morning, which represents 5:45 in the morning, we started to get the loss of momentum in gold, and we are now moving into the sideways trajectory and potentially looking at okay, so this is good. So we're getting a scallop formation, right? Scallop formation meaning markets range towards the side. We start to just, not make any higher highs. We start to then transition to lower lows and lower highs. So a scallop formation for me generally means that gold is in a period of weakness, and it may be something that we want to consider looking at from a short perspective. So I'm pretty happy to go in on a feeler trade for gold on a short. And because we're so high on this scallop formation, right, a slight push above, right, slight push above, that is only 20 or 30 pips would take me out of my trade. It would mean my scalp is wrong, right? But again, the plus side is that if a scalp ends up happening and we do get that push back to the value proposition, or back to the mark that I believe that gold would be worth buying, that means we're looking at, let's see here, 150 pips versus a 20 pip stop loss, right? So again, we have a great risk reward ratio. You can lose 4 of these trades in a row, win 1, and you're still net positive. And that's what it's all about, is spotting a trade where the timing is right, the risk reward ratio is right, and again, that it's in line with your risk, right? So if your account says you can risk 3%, what is that 3% in relation to your account? If you have a $100 account, 3% is $3, right? So when we talk about having a minimum balance, right? And I think a lot of people ask, the question, why $100? Why this, why that? The reality is, in order to trade a lot of the things that we trade, right? For you to even maintain basic risk management of 3 or 4% of your account, right? 3 or 4% of $100 is $3 or $4 as a stop loss, right? So example, let's say on this gold trade, let's say at a $100 account. Okay, let's say at a $100 account, and I wished to enter, and I'll open a secondary trade. Let's say I want to enter 0.01. Okay, and I'm selling gold, right? My stop loss, my risk is absolutely maxed right there. So just check that. Just that move over there on a 0.01, my risk management is topped out, completely topped out, because I'm risking already $3 as a stop loss. Yes, however, should markets continue and move towards that downside, right, I'll make $14 or $15. So yes, I'm risking $3 to make $15, $15 on $100 accounts, 15% ROI. Guys, that's more than what the bank will give you in a year. Any bank, anywhere in the world, that what they would give you in a year. So anyway, that's just why a lot of people ask, why is the minimum $100? Just for that reason. You can't afford to actually trade the markets in a legitimate way with less than $100. That's just the fact. That's just the reality of where it's at. So while I'm focusing on other markets, I'm just going to pop these stop losses a little bit higher. They are all within my risk management. They're all within my profile. Quickly moving on to Brent. Brent is such an absolute machine. So we had clients asking us about Brent and what should they end up doing about that. And we were talking about that $93 per ounce on Brent. And as we can see, Brent has obviously smashed that $93 per ounce beautifully. So that is definitely something we want to pay a ton of attention to. And we are going to move into this in a second. I just quickly want to do a quick change. So what we're going to go ahead and do is give me a 30-second intermission, and I'll be right back with you guys. And we're going to get into it, and I'll show you some amazing things that we're going to give away, another $250. So you want to be a part of that. So let's go. Give me 30 seconds. I will see you guys all right now. There we go. So if I didn't break anything, we should be back together. We should be looking good. We should be looking crispy. Let me know. Are we looking good? Are we looking crispy? You let me know. Guys, these tracks are something else. Tracks something else. Okay. So getting into Brent, guys, Brent has been an absolute monster, right? So for those of you who don't recall, we had a show last week about the 26th where I said Brent is a great value proposition. $83 per barrel is an ideal buy zone for the price of Brent. And we had some clients that jumped in who bought that. I don't want to name names, but some of you are absolutely killing it. Guys, I've seen a client go from $650, right, to to well over $6,000 just trading Brent. Now remember, this is a client who actually trades million rand accounts, but gave himself the challenge of saying, okay, I've got this 650 rand account. Can I get this to, 500,000 rand in the next couple months? Right. Within a week, he's gone from 650 rand to well over 6,000 or 7,000 rand. Right. And part of it was just this Brent trade. So we were together discussing Brent, and I said, I believe that Brent could go from this current market, $83 to $92 per ounce a barrel. And it's there. We've broken that value. Now, what does this mean, right? Does this mean you sell your grandmother and buy Brent? No, please don't sell your grandmother. But what it does mean is that there's a huge opportunity for us. And this is really going to come down to price action, right? So I want you to understand the bigger picture on Brent, right? From the basically just over 2.5 years, right? Brent has been in this massive, massive bull run. We can see the Ukraine tensions, issues, all that chaos busy happening. But ultimately, I say to everybody that once we breach the 61.8, and we're not talking about the 61.8, I'm talking about the impulse that we had off of the last support level. That is the impulse. This is the correction. And we corrected down to known Fibonacci levels, which is the 61.8. We made a push through, and I said, I don't believe it. I'm not buying it, meaning I'm not going to sell into Brent, but I do believe we're going to see a recovery. I do believe it's a bear trap. For those of you who remember me saying that, please put your hands up just so it doesn't seem like I'm talking by myself here. If you remember seeing that, you remember hearing me say that, go ahead and drop your hands up in the comments. Let me know that you actually did, and you guys just aren't being monitoring spirits. How does one access the group where you give the USD signal? Yesterday, thank you for the great analysis on the charts. So Johnny 993, in the description below is our Telegram group. That is our that is our free group. It's called a freemium group. It means anyone from anywhere in the world, whether you have an account, don't have an account, you can join. Now, if you have a $100 account or more, we are going to be giving you the official Globex 360 Basics group. Basics will mean you get the dollars for lunch sessions. Basics will mean you get signals daily. It will mean you get a morning newsletter, market analysis, and just so much more. So if you want to jump into the freemium group, the Globex 360 live TV group, the link is in the description below. You can go and hit that link and jump in and be with us. Okay, so I'm quickly saying, okay, so Silas is saying he remembers, Fazila says remembers, Darlene Shaw says remembers, Johnny says thank you very much. Thank you very much, Johnny. Okay, beautiful. So what we're looking at here is, does this mean, we're breaking that 2-year, we broke the 2-year trend, was support, was now resistance. Have we broken that resistance? Right now, I'm a little bit hesitant to just call out and say, yes, we've broken it. Because even if I go and be a little bit kinder to my price action, that is a little bit more of the line that I would essentially start to look at. But when prices are rising, I'm generally a lot harder on myself. I tend to go, okay, it's still under resistance, still under resistance, still under resistance, because I don't want to buy into resistance. So I move my resistance with all reasonable parameters to really make sure that I'm not creating a resistance support level that favors me. I'm creating one that the markets break through and then favors my trade strategy. All right. So that's something you guys will learn about me over a period of time. But ultimately, that pop has now happened. I would, from a structural perspective, like to see Brent come back to, and you'll see there's going to be some beautiful market structure here. I would like to see Brent come back to, I'll tell you the exact level right now. I would like to see Brent pull back to $90.80 per barrel. When we get that $90.80 per barrel, that's me. Like, I will put all my trading accounts into Brent, because Brent then has the opportunity to go to the moon. Now, guys, if you know Brent is an absolute mover, right? You can trade it on ZAR, you can trade it in dollar. But for those of you who aren't trading Brent, let me tell you, some of our wealthiest clients, some of our most profitable clients trade Brent. So if you wanted a little bit of a heads up, that's where you want to end up being. So Brent done exactly what we said last week, and I think is going to the moon. It's definitely been a one we have to watch. we have to pay a lot of attention to. Now, I think moving quickly into the cryptos, and we obviously just want to have a look at what is Bitcoin up to. Bitcoin is being very, very, very slow and docile. This is a daily time frame, right? And Bitcoin is doing next to nothing in this moment of stagnation. Now, again, I believe that the biggest catalyst we're going to see to potentially, now just understand this, guys. Non-farm payrolls has the ability to completely turn the markets upside down, right? For a couple reasons. Let's talk two world scenarios. I'm going to dive into this a lot deeper tomorrow. I'm preparing, I'm canceling my whole day. I'm not doing meetings, I'm not doing shows, I'm not doing broadcasts, I'm not doing interviews, I'm not doing adverts, I'm not shooting nothing. Everything is about NFP tomorrow. What you need to understand is that if we receive negative jobs data, right? If we receive negative fundamental data for the dollar tomorrow, it does two things, right? The dollar comes back to normality in a very sharp way because the rest of the world can see the dollar is way overvalued. Everyone's buying the dollar as a safe haven currency, which further puts pressure on the rest of the world. It's this self-perpetuating issue or circle that bites back on each other. But in essence, if we have negative fundamental data for NFP tomorrow, the dollar is going to fall like an absolute stone. Indices and markets are going to rally. Commodities are going to rally. But I think the one person, the one elephant in the room that nobody seems to notice is going to be crypto. If the dollar starts to hemorrhage and suffer a massive failure, then very likely we are going to see Bitcoin have its first shot, first potential, first sign of a breakout towards the top side. So NFP is going to be extremely diverse. Usually with NFPs, right, markets are kind of all doing their thing. There's nothing to worry about. And at this particular NFP, and I mix up my words because I'm so excited about it, is that all these markets are sitting in perfect alignment. Have a look at it. All markets are sitting at perfect resistance / support, T-junctions, breakouts. All these markets are sitting at that perfect storm situation, right? A positive NFP, right, will break all market structures. So again, if we get a hugely positive dollar data announcement, that means, so let's talk about the opposite effect. Hugely positive dollar announcement, meaning unemployment has gone down, more jobs being created, more average hourly earnings, you name it. Like if we get the best of the best good dollar data tomorrow, what does that mean? Right, that means the dollar is going to absolutely dominate. Stock markets are going to be scared because it means the Federal Reserve is getting the exact opposite reaction of already the insane levels of interest rates that they're increasing, meaning the next interest rate might not be a 75 basis point, we might see that full fat 100 basis point hike. Markets, stock markets would know what that means. It's a signal that the US economy is still getting stronger. We're in for some serious trouble, boys, and we're going to see indices fall. So regardless, Friday I think is going to be paramount. Only thing that could happen on Friday that would be, you know, we get a number within expectation, right? That would be an anticlimax, like, oh, okay, that is what it is. But anything above or below is going to be dramatic. It's going to be massively huge on the markets across the board. So again, if you don't want to miss that, I'm going to probably be speaking about this Friday's NFP for the next 2 months, right? And you want to be a part of that. You want to be a part, witness, and participate in that. So remember, even if you have a live account, even if you have a Globex 360 live account and you just want to come and observe, you're more than welcome. You don't even have to trade the NFP, but just come and learn and understand how the world works, how globally we are connected, and what the ripple effects are of certain decisions on the markets and on currency and on your own pocket. You're more than welcome then to attend. But again, you just need to have a minimum of $100 in your live account, and we will automatically email you out that link to that session. Okay, beautiful. So let's give it a look really quickly, and let's see. Okay, Ethereum pretty much sitting in the same position. I'm not going to linger on that too much, but again, Twitter still hovering, doing some really good things. I am, however, interested in what is happening with Tesla right now. Remember, when you see these splits in your charts, right, I get a lot of questions about this. People say, well, my charts are broken, you know, what's happening? Remember, when a company goes through a split stock or stock split, right? They go and say, okay, we've got, stocks, X amount of stocks at $2,000, we're splitting by 4. So if you had one stock of $2,000, you would essentially get 5 stocks at $500 each. That's what a stock split does. But unfortunately for our charts, it makes it look like our charts have been on drugs, right? So, these massive jumps, and it just makes analysis a little bit more difficult because we don't really have a lot of past data to rely on. And the second you zoom out, this is a minute time frame. The second you zoom out, you get all these like weird little sort of breaks in structure. In any event, what I'm looking for this morning is I'm looking at Tesla's share price, right? And in terms of what it is currently doing. Wow, what happened there? There we go. So I'm looking at Tesla's share price this morning, and that is pretty much running for, I would say, this is the last 2 days of volatility, right? So at the announcement, right, pretty much at the announcement where the speculation started about the fact that this and Elon might have gone ahead and done the Twitter deal, Tesla's stock did not react positively towards that at all. However, what that does mean, and the same position applies to when we're looking at Twitter stock as an individual stock, right? Tesla stock has never been this cheap, right? And I think it's definitely a time for us to start looking at and considering, would this be something we want to get long in? That's something I would like to get long in, right? At the moment, one share price of Tesla, is currently trading at about $240. Now remember, there has been stock splits, so it's very hard to relate that as to what it was in relation to all-time highs. But from a value proposition, man, I think Tesla and Elon is the way of the future. So I would like to start looking at that. We are going to be paying a little bit more attention to that in our live broadcasts moving in the future. That's what it's going to all be about. But outside of that, guys, I don't really have too much to say here. We still get that little bit of a pullback there. In an hour, it seems to be starting to correct itself. But we can expect pretty much anything there. So what I'm going to do, okay, so I'm just having a look at these bull runs and where the pullbacks end up happening. Just see. An absolute worst case scenario is like a bull run like that. Okay, so if we have a look at these bull runs now, let's say you bought into USDT with me, and you bought at some point in time. Let's say you bought where I bought, right, yesterday, and we got this massive rally, just went through the roof. And you want to protect yourself from a trading perspective, right? Where do you put your stop loss, and how do you get out of a trade should it absolutely go pear-shaped? Well, this is how we deal with that, right? We measure the latest impulse, right? We measure the latest move to the top side. This is the last impulse. If markets start to correct up until the New York Stock Exchange, right, it would mean that our stop losses would need to be below that 88.2 to hold this as some sort of long-term trade. And what you'll also end up finding then is you'll start to develop a trend line that will look something like that. And then what you'll also find is that trend line starts to build us a little bit of a sideways market structure that we're able then to build with quite a bit of clarity. So again, you want to look at the last impulse. If you bought way up in price, like I added a second position there, that position is going to be at risk. But in order to hold this pullback for this next season, I have two options. I can either close my profits now out of fear, right? Close over many $100s are banked already, or I can put my stop losses below that 88.2. And why the 88.2? For the reason being that when we measured the last pullback, right, we measured this pullback, we can see that pullback ended before that 88.2. So the 88.2 Fibonacci retracement level is the last level of retracement before price action breaks. And you can see if we go past 100%, we're going to make a newer low, right? And this bull market is dead. we're now into a bear stage or bear cycle. So that's how I'm going to deal with my risk. I'm going to put my stop losses below, and my stop loss is going to be located at the 29,905 level for this trade towards the top side. And that's pretty much where I'm going to end up leaving it, if I'm honest. Let's quickly have a look at gold. Yeah, I'm pretty happy to hold gold here. Again, we've got that price action break on the RSI. That's the only other one I didn't see. Let's have a look what's happening there. Yeah, that's fine. So in essence, right, for those of you looking at gold, right, if we do get a continuation towards the downside, great, no issues, we're fine there, right? Stop loss on gold is currently sitting just above. It's actually not above resistance 1, right? It's not really above resistance 2. It's kind of in resistance 1 and within resistance 2. So in the best world, you'd want to put your stop loss above the last resistance and then the second last resistance, right? That is your absolute safest way, because then, you know, the next move up, if it doesn't make a higher high, it's still in a bear market, right? It still gives you opportunity to recover to the downside and move towards the downside. So that's what I'm going to do there. However, there is a however part, right? Should we break on the RSI, this market structure, I'm currently looking at this in a 30 minutes. Should we break this RSI 30-minute structure, I would get worried about those sells, and I may then opt to get into a long position. So again, those are the two options, or the two plays that I would particularly have and hold for the price of gold. But again, if anything else comes in from a fundamental perspective that we're not prepared for, specifically today, mostly focusing at that 230 mark. I think the initial jobless claims 230 is going to create a lot of volatility. So if you're in the dollar in any way, shape or form, 230 is going to be a deciding factor for you. And then obviously we know that Thursdays and Friday mornings are generally quite stagnant, and that is mostly in relation to the fact that we obviously have to deal with NFP, and markets are just generally scared of NFP, if I'm honest. They're generally just waiting to hear what ends up happening. So that is kind of where we want to keep most of our attention. Yes, we might see a bit of a slower trading day. We had a massive day Monday, massive day Tuesday, great day yesterday. So we've essentially had 3 days in a row of absolute profits. So if we need to slow it down a little bit today, so be it. We'll look at the New York Stock Exchange open this afternoon and see if we can lock in some more profits. But really the main focus is going to be on Friday. So if you're messaging me late tonight, if you're messaging me tomorrow and I don't reply, please remember I turn off my lights. Many people have actually asked this question. They've asked, what does it look like if I turn off my lights? And when I'm actually trading, you know, what does that actually look like for lights? So now there's a lot of lights. If I turn off my lights, it just goes to this dark ambiance and I can then focus on the trades. So this is kind of how I deal with it when I'm trading by myself. So as we lead into tomorrow, this is where my main focus is going to be. Everything is going to be on NFP for this Friday. So just again, to the chat and to the community, you guys have been absolutely amazing. I want to just bring up the chat really quickly, and let's just see what we can do just to make it a little bit more special for every single one of you. There we go. And I just want to quickly go through the chat and read and make sure we are up to date with everybody here. Let's just see. Gold recovered nicely. Consider a bullish move to be correctional. We'll try next week. I've missed it. I just want to get group signals. We answered that. Egan, are you talking about me? I don't remember giving a US30 signal. Guys, if you aren't in the Telegram group is down below, right? So the link to the Telegram group is right there in the video description. I'll drop it in the chat. I don't know if you guys can access links through the chat, but I'll drop it and see what happens. There we go. So I've just posted the link to the Telegram group. Make sure you're part of the Telegram group. I did post yesterday after the live session that we had some pending orders north and south, but that I was going to go ahead and enter that US30 buy towards the top side. Yeah, so that was definitely the way to go. So Peter van Wyk, perfect. Lunda, Silas, Dolly, Shaw saying looking super. Johnny, Ruan, Fabian, Chippo, guys, thank you so much. So if I have 500 and take a position on Brent, will I be able to take some more trades if the currency falls my Brent position is running, or will it be a risk to my account? So Chippo, what I suggest, one of the best things you can do in order to look at that and potentially work around that is what you can go ahead and do is open up a trade on Brent. And then what you can do with that trade is open up not a market order, open up a pending order. So open up a 0.10 on Brent and look at what portion of your margin that requires. So it'll use up a portion of your margin, you'll have a bit of free margin, and then you'll be able to calculate and decide for yourself how much margin do you have for additional trade. That's gonna be the best route, as always. Okay, beautiful. So guys, I think I'm feeling a little bit stingy this afternoon. I think what I really want to go ahead and do is I want to save most of the giveaways. Oh, that's what it looks like without lights. Once we have lights, there we go. We want to save majority of the giveaways for NFP Friday. Like, I'm really feeling like we want to go big. We want to celebrate. Like, how amazing would it be? We smash the markets, give away some money, celebrate competitions. What a way to start the week, right? That is how I want to start the week. That's how I want to end the week. That's how I want to start my weekend, right? This is NFP Friday giveaway. So I'm saving all the rest of the giveaway money for those of you who are going to be with me live in the NFP Friday session. Again, remember, please, you need $100 to be able to get the link to the session. I know I say this often and I repeat myself, but literally before every live show, I get 30 messages. Please help me now, fund. I've only got $91. Do I qualify? Guys, the rules are the rules, right? And please also, in addition, guys, if you haven't won, right, please remember this is an absolutely free incentive that Globex 360 is giving to you guys to be able to participate. So it is absolutely at random. You might have attended all the shows, and I get a lot of comments after the show saying, I've attended all these shows, I haven't won a single thing. Like, the show is free. Globex 360 is the best broker in the country, best spreads, cashback, incentive, best support staff, all these amazing opportunities, academy. You're getting all these free things, and then the person says, but I wasn't given anything for free. No. We need to stop that attitude, because that's the wrong way of thinking. If you're looking at things from a pessimistic point of view, then it is wrong, right? Then you're just taking advantage of the air you're breathing. Think about that. What is the air you're breathing saying? Okay, beautiful, guys. Listen, as always, thank you for beautiful pounds for breakfast. We're going to continue to watch markets. I'm going to hold my US30 long because, again, I've been speaking about this for a ton of time. I believe it has the opportunity and potential to do massive things long term. This afternoon session is going to be fire. You want to be a part of that. We're going to go through the data. We're going to have a look at what's happening. We want to see if we can end another dollars for lunch session with multi-thousand pips in terms of what we're going to end up happening here. Let's just quickly read a couple of the last comments here really quickly. Meditation saying, very good technicals, Dane. Thank you, my dear brother. I always open 2 trades, close one when it reaches a certain level. And I move my stop loss between break even and let the other trade run. Yes, Silas, well done. This is risk management. This is trading. This is actually trading in the markets. I love to hear comments like that. Thank you so much. You are on your way. Well done. Euro USD 3 days time frame. The pair is trading long-term bullish. Trends high, lower than lower. Perfect. Okay, cool. Perfect falling channel. Absolutely. So remember, Euro USD, no issues. Just remember, we have NFP on Friday. Again, if that data comes out bad, the dollar's going to tank. So even if you're looking for a Euro USD short, no issue. Don't get caught into a trade that, especially after some, in between a big news event, right? That is obviously extremely important. Price is close and close to resistance. I believe the strong bearish wave will initiate soon. But I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know, funded with my account, groceries, money, so it'll be peanut butter for the rest of the month. But I guess my month end with your guidance, I'll take my wife to the potion basket. Oh, here's Fires again. Fires, you're gonna put us in trouble in these shows. Like, that is, yo. Okay, as long as your wife doesn't have my number, doesn't have my Instagram, doesn't have my Telegram, no issues. Like, you do you, I'll do me. Hopefully together, you take it to ocean basket. But if you make a mistake, you don't use a stop loss. I don't want to be getting a call. Hi, I'm Fayaz's wife. I'm just saying. But listen, big ups for noticing an opportunity and taking that risk. And I think, guys, that's also something I really want to talk about. Let me just wrap up with this because I know these streams are starting to get a bit longer, but it is super important. I want you to go ahead and do yourself this favor. This is going to become a very, very, very big topic. And I want you to know that you are a lot wealthier than what you currently believe that you are. Dane, what are you saying? Like, what are you saying? Buyers is using grocery money to trade. What are you saying? What Buyers is doing, right? It sounds silly to many of you. It sounds like we joke about it, right? But all jokes aside, if you go through your monthly statements, if you go through what kind of money you spend on a monthly basis, get a statement, do yourselves a favor. And I want you to do this exercise because there's going to be a workshop coming up soon where I'm going to teach this step by step. But what I would like you to do, go and draw your September statement from the bank. And I want you to go and print it out. Not on your phone. I want you to print it out. I want you to take time. I want you to sit with that statement. And I want you to get a highlighter. And I want you to highlight line by line what were absolute necessities: rent, insurance, medical aid, groceries, all these things, right? I want you to highlight the absolute necessities. And I want you to go have a look at those things that are necessities. The quick stop here for Starbucks, the quick pop in here at Woolies for this, your Netflix or your subscription to whatever. Hopefully you don't have a subscription to OnlyFans because then you can cut that straight out. Whatever it may be, all these small little bits of money, I want you to go and have a look at what are absolute necessities, highlight them in one color. And what things do you know that you don't necessarily need in order to survive? Highlight all of them. And then highlight the things that you know you don't need, but that add value to your life, right? Maybe Netflix adds value to life. Maybe you watch documentaries. Maybe, you know, you get value out of that. But I want you to go ahead and highlight that, and you will be amazed at how much money you spend. It doesn't matter if you earn 5,000 Rand a month or 500,000 Rand a month. You will be amazed at how much of that money every single month you spend on things that give you technically no value, and B, more than no value, are not contributing towards your future. So what Faiz is busy saying here, we laugh at, and I've joked about it yesterday and said, please don't let your wife call me, but let me explain to you, right? He's looked at his groceries and maybe they buy expensive things. Maybe they spend 6,000 Rand at Woolworths and now they're going to rather spend 2,000 Rand at Woolworths as an example, right? If you look at that as an ongoing basis type situation and you just save 2,000 Rand every single month, right? 2,000 Rand a month over the space of a year, what are we talking about? We're talking about 24,000 Rand. Fine, there's some money there. But the reality is there's inflation. How many of those things that you're spending money on also then consume your time? Because when we talk about wealth, we're not just talking about money. Wealth is also about your time. How many of those things that you're spending money on also go ahead and consume time? Because remember, if you're not paying for it, you are the product. How much time are you spending on Instagram? How much time are you spending on Facebook? How much time are you spending scrolling on YouTube? Why does YouTube not charge you anything? Why does Instagram? Why does Facebook? Because you are the product. Your time and your attention is what they're monetizing and selling ads to. So think about that. One exercise, do a bank statement. What items did you not need? Absolutely, but bought anyway. What items did you need, but you still find enjoyment out of? Look at that balance. Because I'm going to show you guys something very, very powerful in the next couple of weeks of two things. Right? How to gain control of your finances, to really look at those necessities and how they can compound month on month from a money perspective, but then from a wealth of time perspective, how can you take that 1 hour that you spend a day scrolling on Netflix? How can you translate that into 1% growth per month? Right? So you take those two formulas together and you smash them together, guys. This is where, and I've got goosebumps right now telling you this, because this is where things get absolutely crazy. If you're contributing 100 Rand, 50 Rand, 20 Rand, whatever it may be. If you're contributing 1,000 Rand every month, cutting out some of those necessities, you've A, created more financial wealth for your side and you're saving that. But B, if you're taking an hour a day to learn a skill, to only look at gaining 1% in the market a week, let me tell you something. 1,000 Rand a month over 12 months is only 12,000 Rand. But 1,000 Rand a month at 1% a week becomes a value. Then you add another 1,000 Rand that you're going to be saving the next month, and then you do 1% a week based on that. Then you add another 1,000 on that, and then you do 4% for the month on that. And the number that comes out will absolutely blow your mind. That quick shop to the KFC, 400 Rand, right? I can show you what 400 Rand can do over the space of a year, provided two things: that you're honest with yourself and committed to not only getting through this recession, but becoming wealthy, right? And wealthy is more mindset than a set of skills, but you need those skills in order to initiate an action, right? So we're going to be doing a very, very powerful session, a very powerful course, because this is something I get more and more often. I see someone trading with $60. They've got the heart, they've got the passion, they'll trade with $60 and they'll go sit at a bar and spend 1,000 Rand on alcohol. And I said, Dan, help me, I'm struggling to trade. Well, yes, A, because you're a moron, and B, you haven't been given the tools and the skills to look at money and look at money from a wealth perspective. So we're going to be having an amazing session together coming up in the next week or two, something I'm busy building right now that's going to show you. And do this exercise for me. Right? Do this exercise for me. Go and have a look. Draw a statement for your last month and be honest with yourself. It's not a nice thing. A lot of the times you end this exercise and you felt there's two feelings. First feeling is maybe a little bit nauseous because of what you've spent that you really didn't need to. But the feeling that comes after that is you realize you're so much wealthier than what you believe you currently are. It doesn't matter if you earn 5,000 Rand a month or again 500,000 Rand a month. I did this exercise for myself in the last month in prepping and building this particular presentation. And guys, my mind was blown. Every second person that asks for airtime, yeah, no problem, 50, 100 there. This one wants this, give this there, buy this, offer to pay for food, pay for drinks, pay, blah, 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 blah. If I look at that number and I compound that number monthly and I focus on just 4 to 5% a week on that number, let me tell you my personal number, but to start today and in 12 months time from now, is 6.4 million Rand. I can tell you my number is not a lot different from your number, and I will blow you away with what is possible, again, provided you follow the rules and you take this thing seriously to the next level. So again, that is what G360, Globex 360 TV, as well as the Academy and Globex 360 as a whole is about, is a family. It's building a relationship and helping you to take everything that you need to the next level. We're providing those tools and providing those assets. So I apologize that I've spoken a little bit over, but this is something that's been pent up in my heart that I just needed to get out there. If you feel this is something that you need, please stay tuned and be a part of it. This is going to be an exclusive event for those of you who have $100 or more. So get sorted, get your priorities straight, guys. That little McDonald's, that little pizza every single week, I can't explain to you what a big transition that can make in your life when you start to deal with this on a daily basis and you look at what you can achieve in the space of 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. So anyway, guys, if you're hearing me right now and you caught the message, please pop a hands up so I know I wasn't just speaking to myself, making me feel a little bit better about spending that time. Beautiful. So we are going to be spending a lot of time on this. And we're going to be obviously taking things to the next level together. And let me just tell you something else, guys. What we've released as in terms of benefits, in terms of services, in terms of value adds from a Globex perspective is nothing in relation to what is coming. Like, I'm itching to just share it every single piece with you. But obviously, we have to work in line with the executive team's orders, and as and when things are tested, ready, and perfected is when we can obviously announce that to every single one of you. But I can tell you one thing. There are many so-called brokers out there, but there is only one name in Southern Africa that is going to last and that is going to take over and you're right here, right now. This is your new home. This is your new family, and we are going to go places. All right, guys, outside of that, listen, I just want to let you know, I appreciate every single one of you for taking your time to be here, being in these comments, being in these chats, sharing, and just giving love is exactly what this channel has been built for. And the fact that you guys are with us and doing amazing things, we really, really, really appreciate it. Silas is saying, can we please add an MT5? Let me tell you something. We're adding something so much better than MT5. We're adding 2 more things so much better than MT5. If you ask for MT5, you ask for a finger, we're going to give you the whole arm. All right, so we're going to have some massive, massive things that we're going to be doing, right? So guys, listen, literally from the bottom of my heart, I absolutely love you guys. As always, remember to live, trade, and always do things the Globex 360 way. If you felt that this broadcast has earned your approval, drop a thumbs up, give us a like here, and directly after this, go and share with somebody. Go and share with somebody, and I'm going to look at those of you who share, take a screenshot, send it to me privately, and I will make sure, even if I give it to you out of my own money, I will make sure we get you that $250 credit. So directly after this broadcast, share with somebody that you know, share with as many people as you know, send me that screenshot on Instagram, send me that screenshot on Telegram. You can post on Instagram and tag me and tag Globex 360. I will go ahead and then make sure we allocate towards you. We'll pick 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 10 people. I don't know. We'll pick and we'll allocate to you your $250 credit to your live account so that you can be in there with NFT on us on Friday and just dominate the markets. And that's what we do. That's what it's all about. Guys, listen, much love. Have yourselves an amazing morning. I'll see you guys a little bit later for the Dollars for Lunch session. And then all eyes on there after are focused on NFT this Friday. You do not want to miss this one. Until I see you later.